Hello and welcome to MiamiBusiness.com. We're here today with Michael Miller, and we're gonna talk today about videos and why should you be on video like we're doing right now. So let's Michael, welcome.
Welcome.
And
there we go. We're live. I can see us over there.
We're live.
Thanks for inviting me, Wilson.
Absolutely. So I think it's important for living in this world of videos and social media. I think it's crucial for I guess companies, small, medium, or large, it doesn't matter what, at which capacity they're at. I think it's important that they go out and do some type of a podcast or video show, or hire us to do this, what we're doing, like a mini newspaper does. And what are the advantages, in your opinion, as far as who should the main person be in the company to do this?
I think the consumers want to see who the boss is, wherever it is. Whether you go, it's Zuckerberg or Dave Thomas from Wendy's from years ago, or from what's the name, Lee Iacocca from Chrysler. I was listening to a show this morning. They said, well, can you imagine if Jeff Bezos knew what was going on with this particular thing? And I said, could you even name one other person that works at Amazon? And they couldn't.
That's a great point, and I totally agree with that. So again, if it's I deal a lot with law firms, and you're not going to hire the paralegal to be the spokesperson for the company, or the receptionist, or the legal admin, or whomever it is. You want it to be the person in charge.
When I go out to eat and I sit down, when the owner comes over and comes to the table, I'm feeling like $1 million.
That's right.
First of all, I always give a bigger tip than I would normally.
Right.
And then when they sit down, we have a real conversation about what's going on. I feel honored and privileged that he would take his time and come over and chat, wherever that is. That makes a big difference, where the owner is out front and having that conversation, because they say, oh, gee, I ran into so-and-so today, or I saw so-and-so. And whether you call it being on a TV station, or whether it's a video, or whether it's a commercial you were doing, or whether it's on radio with a video attached to it, it's important for the owners of the small and medium, and of course the large size businesses, to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And we don't want to minimize the importance of the current staff, the paralegals, or the legal admins, or the accounting department, or anything like that. If anything, they should encourage their boss, the big person, to go ahead and do this type of thing, do the show, because it's going to eventually, trickle down to them. The more exposure they get, the more influence they get. And of course, with influence comes many other things.
Yeah. So when we look at when people are doing a video or a TV show, when the marketing department, that may be the owner, or a secretary, or a receptionist, or an assistant, when they take that and they share it on their social media, on their website, on their newsletters, it perpetuates that here's our boss, man. He's a good guy, or she's a good guy. All right. That does make a difference. And we see these things called meet and greet. Yeah. When we go out, we want to see them. Wilson, we do a lot of luncheons and breakfasts, and we recognize some of the speakers that we bring out that they are in their own right famous enough locally, all right, well known enough that when people of the public, when they go there, they may never get another chance to do that.
Right.
And so it is our privilege to be able to have them there, and then we take pictures. And what do? We run it all over, right? So whether it's big pictures or big videos, to be consistent with that, because people want to know, hey, I ran into Wilson today. He's the guy that does that show. I think those things are very important.
Yeah, no, for sure. I totally agree. So we were having issues here.
Yes.
With our streaming services, we're doing a new profile on the computer to see if that takes care of the problem.
So if it looks like we're freezing
like that, yeah. So it's interesting. I was thinking, as you were talking to me about this earlier, for a topic for the show, and I love Seinfeld. The
show show about nothing.
It's a show about nothing. So I was thinking, okay, let's do a show about nothing. But no, we did have a topic. It's the video.
Yes.
So let's see. I mean, hopefully it not anymore. And and
That was good.
I had to practice for that.
So, by the way, Wilson, if you have a problem with your computers and your internet, this is actually one of the things we're doing. We're trying it a little bit different way to see if it's nice and smooth. We hope that it is. If not, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and the audio, of course, works. I am talking, and everybody can hear it.
It seems to be recording.
Yeah. It's good. Life is good. So, getting back to the videos, I have been, I guess, being in the social media field, I am embarrassed to say that I have been lacking getting in front of the camera. Just because not only personal reasons, but because it's not easy. It really is not easy. And I know that it wasn't easy for you at first,
right?
But afterwards, you're a natural at this.
And true story, Aaron, who was he went out and was doing our shows and commercials. He used to chase me around the building. I say on Monday, he says, no, there is no Monday, right? He would literally follow me around, right? And at the beginning, it was sort of tough. I do want to tell people and to thank you. About 10 years ago, you dragged in this suitcase.
That's right.
And you said, here's a camera. It's a big camera like this. You said, you could do videos right in that room over there, all right? And we took the camera. We immediately locked it up to make sure nobody could get to it in case it could be stolen. When you picked it up.
I just needed it for storage.
Yeah.
No.
But you did invite us to use it.
Yeah,
right?
No.
And so that was,
absolutely.
Was that 10 years ago?
That was at least 10 years ago. That I'm going to tell you actually, 2000. Yeah, that was like 2014, more or less.
So that was years ahead before we started looking at doing it, because we looked at it. It's something extra, and it takes different manpower. It's a different mindset. All right, but you were right.
I was doing it with my B2B shows that I would call them, but we were doing it with a webcam, and the quality was horrible. I mean, looking back, it was great. I mean, we were doing it at the wrong time, but I was experimenting and it worked at the time. And then I got the camera and then I never did anything with it. It's really what happened.
So part of that whole process, sometimes we don't know whether we're ahead of times, whether it's stupid or, hey, this is something that's going to be good, right? But that's just the way life is. Right?
It's timing.
Yes. And Walmart, when years ago, they would pick us a location way out of the way far away, so they wouldn't get complaints from neighbors. But they knew that the red roofs were coming soon.
Right. Exactly.
And they would go do that way ahead of time. And when you think about this company that was selling books, and losing millions and millions of dollars, would now control 50% of the e-commerce around the country, maybe around the world, but at least in the United States.
I forgot about that. They really did start selling books.
Yeah. And so books, you go over to wherever it is, you get your books there. One of the great things, by the way, that we've all learned to do is many years ago, McDonald's was take your family and kids to McDonald's. You can go inside and maybe it's in the car. Then over a period of time, it sort of shifted to drive-through. And can you imagine going to a drugstore and you didn't have to get out of your car, right? And you go, holy moly. So all these are changes that are going on. Now McDonald's, over 80% of their billing is from drive-through.
Yeah.
And now it's become acceptable to wait because you have your phone.
Well, now it's normal. Now it's normal to go through a drive-through, not to go dine in.
Yes. And so part of this whole process about life is, okay, and as Wayne Gretzky said it so appropriately, don't go where the puck is, go where the puck is going. And so part of one of the things that you showed us in 2014, this is where I think it's going, right, in communication. And you know what I thought of it? We locked it up.
Yeah.
Right. But who knew that 5 years after that or 6 years after that, we would start off with a little tiny phone like that. And now we have 2 studios and you're actually the granddaddy.
I'm the granddaddy.
Yes. Soon enough. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I know. That'll come. That's coming. Yeah. So let's see. Let's go back to videos because I think it's important that people don't feel comfortable. People don't feel comfortable just getting in front of the camera. I remember the first time I did it, and I feel like I have experience. And the first day that I was here, I was like literally doing this. It was an interview that I had with Ralph Geronimo, I remember. And it was very embarrassing as opposed to, just your posture is very important. Your hair, your this, your that. But how can we make people feel comfortable? Should the attitude be just go in and do it and like I did? That's what I did.
I think part of it, what we need to do is when we sit down with people, is just give them some basic marching instructions, which is try to have your seat in a place, put your back and your butt up against the back, sit back with your shoulders, and put your hands someplace so they're not nervous.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be able to move your hands, but to understand that when we make a video, a camera shot, we do it right around you. So if you move, all right, it looks awkward. And I think be able to, for the guests to be able to express themselves, and I encourage them to say, I'm really nervous. And I don't say, you don't need to be nervous.
I'm really nervous. I
Right?
just want you to know,
Right.
for the record.
And so we say, that's terrific.
Yeah.
All right. I go, of course, this is something new. I said, and I usually ask people, do you usually fly? And they go, well, yeah. How's that? Well, I'm nervous at a certain point. I said, that's great. This is sort of like this. Go on this little trip. And you just told me that once you're in the air, everything is good.
That's
I said,
right.
So we're loading up. We're getting on the plane right now.
The anticipation is terrible.
Right. And then we know when the captain gets to the tarmac and he starts gunning, 45 to 60 seconds, you're in the air. Well, when you get better, once we even off. Okay. So right now we're about to take off. And in a couple of minutes, it's just going to be a conversation.
And
like
that's
this.
exactly that. I was just going to say that. It's all about, if you can have a conversation with somebody, you can do this.
Lots of times people are concerned that we might ask them about a subject that they don't know. The reality is they already know the answers. And sometimes there's no exact correct answer. We usually ask, hey, it's for you. All right. So we usually say, how long you've been in business? What is that like? And why did you get into that particular field? And what are some of the services that you offer that you really enjoy? What sort of charitable work that you're in? And everybody has their answers. And so sometimes we'll ask very poignant questions. Other times it's just a conversation, and the business they happen to be in is sort of like secondary to that, right? It's really that picture, the video of the boss, all right?
Mhm.
Does somebody like you? How do you communicate? And how well do you do in having, it's just a conversation.
Right.
And people who think they're really, really nervous, when you look on the screen, they don't look really, really nervous, all right?
Yeah, that's true.
They might think they are, and maybe they are, but it doesn't show through.
Yeah. And I think the host's responsibility also is to make them feel comfortable and ask the right questions and be a conversationalist as well.
Yes.
Because if you just ask a question and then there's no feedback, then
and I think that's what people are looking for in this unpracticed conversation.
Yeah.
People will continue talking until you stop them by asking them a question because they don't know quite what to do.
right.
So part of what we've learned to do in this is anticipate the answer and then say, and then you have to sort of quietly interrupt them, right? So they don't feel offended, but yet
Subtly
Yes.
you interrupt them
Yes.
like I'm doing now.
Yes.
Hey, Eliane, by the way, how many minutes are we into
13.
this? 13.
13.
I think we should cut it at 20 to see if it's lagging or not. Obviously, it's not. But we'll find out. But it's great.
So subtly interrupt somebody and then ask them the question, and it's sort of a continuation of the lots of times of the initial questions. And we probably had over the years, we know at least 3,000 guests because Grant and I have done in the group here thousands of interviews.
We should really count
Right?
that, by the way.
And it's really an extraordinary number. There was a young lady that came in one time, and she was wearing a short sleeve dress, very attractive dress,
Mhm.
and she was really nervous. All right, and she was sweating a little bit, and so we had
Oh, no.
yes. So I gave her a scarf, and she covered herself, and it was perfect. All right, she was nervous about her sweat showing. All right,
Oh, so she knew. So it was a
she
real
knew.
conversation. That's an uncomfortable
it was,
conversation.
and I tried to be really appropriate.
How do
with
you
it.
do that? That's not good. Okay. I don't understand.
I-
You're
I-
sweating. How do you say?
How you feeling? You a little nervous? And she goes, yeah. I go, that's okay. She goes,
Oh, she knew.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So he said, okay. So he went out, gave her a scarf. All right. And she actually kept one of her arms close like this so you couldn't see it. And it worked out perfectly. So I think it gets somebody to acknowledge how they're feeling so they're not alone.
Yeah.
All right. In that. And so it's like they know that that you're going to take it easy. All right. On them. But we always take it easy on person. This is not like a 60-minute interview.
I think that the host's responsibility is to make sure that they feel comfortable under whichever circumstance.
So we know that people will mirror you.
Okay.
So when
Is that a fact?
yes,
Wow.
that's what happens. All right. And so if you're sitting still,
They're gonna be still.
right. And here's one of the tests. The Michael Miller 1, 2, 3, 4, and what's and
It's
then
not
when
working. It's not. You're not scratching your head.
So the next person typically does the same thing, first and last name and the number. Sometimes I'll do that also because I want to hear their last name again. Make sure I try to pronounce it correctly.
Right.
And if the guests think they have a hard time, right, with this gringo trying to pronounce hyphenated names from all over the globe, all right,
Yeah.
and two Juan Carlos Hernandez or Fernandez, it got to one point where I said, listen, Juan Carlos number 1, when I'm talking to you, I'm going to be looking at you. Juan Carlos number 2, I couldn't even pronounce their second name, all right? I'm going to be pointing at you. And everybody got it, right? And my hat's off to these news reporters who pronounce these foreign names, all right, from all over the globe. And we think they get it right. Most of the time, it's some variation of it being correct. We had a guest who I couldn't pronounce his name. I went to a national spokesman for something. I listened to different stations. Each one pronounced it a little bit differently.
Well, you know what happened with Farrah Fawcett, right?
No.
She won like her first, I don't know if it wasn't an Oscar, but it was a Grammy or some sort, and they mispronounced her name. And the winner is Farrah, I think it was, or I don't even remember what the name was, but that became a thing where people were starting to call her. They were pronouncing her name incorrectly, and she had to like go in some other show and publicly say, "My name is Farrah," as opposed to, right
because
now,
she had an H in it. We have a Farrah that's here, F-A-R-A.
Right, that's
correct. But Farrah had an A. The other Farrah Fawcett had an
Right.
H, if I remember
Yeah.
right.
So they pronounce it the same, right? This Farrah is Farrah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm calling her right correctly. Okay, so but anyways, I don't know, trends. So let's talk about trends. What are the new trends that you know of?
Well, I can tell you my trend right now is not to watch the news. It's so overwhelming with the disaster over in Ukraine. I just won't do it. I'm done. I'm out. Frustration, the anguish, the tragedy. And I realized it was affecting me. It'd be like, because it's overwhelming. Turn to another station, all right?
They're still talking about it though.
Yes, I know, but I want to tell people,
yeah,
I just right now I'm out, all right, of watching it, all right, and it takes a conscious, deliberate attempt to vacate yourself from seeing it. And so I was watching Ozark the other day. Great
show.
It is. And Bateman, right? So that's the name, Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
He's always so stoic and everything. He's got the big drug dealer, that's it. They are killed his co-worker like this. And he's just moving along very nicely. And then they have the hysterical partner.
Yeah.
And so it's really very good. That's how I'm taking up my time.
That's a good thing. I'm on actually I just started season 4, which I heard it's great. It's a great show.
That's where I'm.
Yeah.
I won't tell you.
No, right. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
So I think are we about at 20 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. So this has been a test show. This is a test. This is only a test. It's a test. But anyways, I hope Liam, we're good.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanna thank everyone for showing up and enlightening us. And Michael, I want to tell you thank you once again for
my pleasure
for being an amazing sponsor and an amazing individual and
thanks for taking care of our problems, folks. I got to tell you something. Our computers must have known that Wilson was here. That's all I got to say. Because all of a sudden it's like bingo, bingo, bingo. So you've been here helping us through all these regular business challenges.
Yeah. But anyways, it's great to be here. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Bye. See you.